Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Global English Podcast. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Taylor.
And today we are doing a really reflective and I think a vital deep dive.
I think so too.
We're jumping into some fantastic B1 level English content, and it tackles a topic that literally everyone thinks about.
Everyone. Doesn't matter where you live, what you do.
Exactly. It's the truth about money and happiness. But this isn't just about, finance tips.
Not at all. It's more about life philosophy, but delivered using language that's super useful for B1 learners.
Right. So we've got a whole bunch of sources, transcripts, reviews, teaching notes, all centered on this one big conversation.
And our mission today is to use these sources to unlock some very specific vocabulary.
High-stakes vocabulary, I'd say.
For sure. And we're also going to explore this really important philosophical shift that the sources talk about, this move away from just chasing more.
Always more.
To valuing what they call enough, and also time and presence.
This topic, it really hit me surprisingly hard when I was looking over the sources.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, I thought I kind of understood the whole money and happiness thing, but the way the sources framed it, it just revealed this different angle.
Mm-hmm.
It made me realize that I am so often stuck in that mode of just constantly running, chasing the next thing.
The next level.
Totally. You hit a goal, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a milestone at work or even a new level in a language.
Yeah.
And instead of feeling good about it, satisfied, you immediately look up and you see the next higher target and you just never feel truly satisfied.
It's like climbing a ladder that just never ends.
Exactly. It's an endless ladder. And that realization was genuinely surprising for me.
Well, that feeling you're describing, that constant striving, that is exactly what this B1 content is designed to challenge.
Okay.
Our sources, they point out that this is exactly what B1 learners often feel when they're learning English.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not just about life, it's about learning too.
It's a perfect parallel. They're so focused on chasing that final perfect C2 fluency, that huge distant goal, that they forget to appreciate the progress they've made right now.
Right now at B1.
Exactly. They trade that feeling of contentment with their current skills for this restless pursuit of the next phase.
And that idea of chasing more is just so, it's everywhere in our culture. But speaking of which, the original material used this fantastic trick, a linguistic device.
Ah, I know what you're talking about.
It was so memorable. It was a series of 4 really striking comparisons between things money can buy.
And things it absolutely cannot.
Yes. What did you call that? I had a technical name.
It's a beautiful piece of what we call antithetical parallelism.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
It is, but the idea is simple. It's designed to be memorable and really easy for intermediate learners to practice. The structure is so predictable.
So your brain doesn't have to work as hard.
Right. It reinforces vocabulary
Right.
and those tricky modal verbs like can and cannot almost instantly.
I love that. Okay, so before we break it all down, let's give you, our listener, a little teaser.
A little pop quiz promise.
Exactly. Money can buy a lot of things you can touch. A bed, food, medicine, entertainment. But there are 4 specific intangible things
One for each of those purchases.
that money cannot buy, according to these sources. We're going to reveal all 4 of those striking comparisons later in this deep dive.
And we'll be testing you on one of them in the final quiz, so you'll want to stick around for that.
Yes, definitely. It's a little linguistic anticipation to keep those learning engines running.
I like that.
Precisely. But first, since this is Global English Podcast, we do have to ask you for something really important. It allows us to keep making these detailed deep dives for you.
It just takes a second.
Please take a moment right now to subscribe to Global English Podcast if you haven't already, and please give this a like.
It really does help us reach more learners just like you.
It does, so thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Now, are you ready to jump into the source material?
Let's do it. Let's start the analysis.
Okay, so let's start by grounding this. The sources are all built around intermediate, B1 level English.
Right.
So my question is, why is this topic, the relationship between money and happiness, which seems so complex, why is that a perfect topic for B1 learners?
That's a great question, because at first you'd think finance and philosophy are like C1 or C2 level topics.
Exactly. But the research behind this is really clear. The topic uses universal themes.
Like what?
Daily life, financial habits, just, personal well-being. These are things that are super relatable to everyone no matter where you're from.
Okay, so it's familiar ground.
And that familiarity is key
Mm-hmm.
because it reduces what educators call the affective filter.
Ah, the affective filter. We have heard that term before. If we unpack that for a B1 listener, you said it's basically anxiety, right?
It is, yeah.
But how does choosing a topic I'm comfortable with, like money, actually help me learn a difficult grammar point?
This is such a great question, and it's worth spending a moment on to really unlock it for you. In plain English, the affective filter is like a wall.
A wall in your brain.
Pretty much. A wall of stress or anxiety that literally blocks new information from getting into your long-term memory.
Wow.
B1 learners are often in a really tough spot. They can understand the general meaning of a conversation, but actually producing the language or seeing a new word,
That causes stress.
it causes stress. And if the topic itself is complex, maybe something like quantum physics.
Yeah, that would be stressful for me in any language.
Right, the stress levels go way up. And when that filter is high, your brain power, your cognitive resources, they get redirected.
Redirected from what?
From the hard work of learning the language
Sure.
to the hard work of just managing your stress and trying to figure out what's even being talked about.
So my brain is too busy worrying about the concept to even think about the grammar. It's trying to do two things at once and failing.
Precisely. So by using a topic that is emotionally comfortable, like talking about a simple routine or a cup of tea, the source material just lowers that stress.
Okay, that makes sense.
Your brain doesn't have to work so hard to understand the main idea, and that lets it redirect all its energy onto the language itself.
Vocabulary, the sentence structure, all that good stuff.
Exactly. So it's a really smart two-pronged attack. You're building linguistic confidence and comprehension while also improving your mindset about your goals.
You're making the learning sustainable.
Spot on. Now, let's clarify the central idea from the sources. What exactly is money in this framework?
It seems like the goal of the original source was to really challenge our whole definition of wealth.
It was. The material says very clearly, money is a tool, just a tool.
A tool used to trade value.
Yes, you use it to buy necessities,
Yes.
food, shelter, basic services, but really crucially, money provides safety and freedom.
The ability to choose how you spend your time.
Right. And those things are essential for stability, for calm.
So it gives you that warm blanket, the roof that doesn't leak, the security to sleep through the night. That's comfort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the entire argument pivots on this idea that money is not the final goal. If you make getting more of the tool the ultimate objective, you can end up rich, but also, profoundly empty.
So what is the final goal then?
The final goal, according to this philosophy, is a life filled with meaning, connection, love, and peace. Financial security is just the foundation that supports that joy.
So it's not the source of the joy itself.
It is not, and it cannot be.
I like that analogy. So we need enough of the tool to build the foundation, but we should never confuse the tool, the bricks, with the beautiful, joyful house we're actually trying to build.
That is a perfect way to put it. Now, the source gave us this beautiful, simple B1 level story to illustrate this. Crystal's reflection.
Right, and this story acts as the scaffolding, right? It introduces all our target vocabulary really naturally.
Exactly. So let's dive into the first part of that story.
Let's do it.
Crystal's reflection starts with this really profound, almost uncomfortable idea. She says, sometimes, without realizing it, we start using money as a mirror. A mirror that tells us if we're successful or valuable or doing enough compared to others.
Oh, that part was so relatable. It almost hurt.
It is, isn't it?
We do that all the time. We subconsciously compare our salaries, what we spend, where we travel, especially online.
And suddenly our own quiet success just feels small.
Yeah. Comparison is a constant thief of joy.
The source really tackles this head on. It says directly to you, the listener, you are not a number, not a paycheck. You are a person.
It's an immediate challenge to that whole cultural idea of equating your income with your value.
With your inherent value. But that brings up a good question. For a B1 learner, we use the words worth and value almost like they're the same thing.
Right. Can you define worth simply in this philosophical context? What's the difference?
That's a key distinction. So in a simple sense, value often relates to the price of something. It's concrete. It's transactional.
Like the market value of that house is $500,000.
Exactly. But worth, especially personal worth, is abstract. It's that deep internal belief that you matter, that you're important.
Regardless of your bank account.
Regardless of your financial situation, your job title, or what you own.
Okay.
And the anecdote in the source illustrates this perfectly. The narrator knew someone who earned very little money, but she always smiled.
Right. She grew herbs. She made tea for her neighbors.
Yeah. Her life was simple, but she never seemed to question her worth.
She wasn't driven by financial value.
Exactly. And the key takeaway phrase here is that this quiet confidence she had felt richer than any salary.
I love that. Richer than any salary.
And linguistically, that's really interesting. We're using a comparative structure, richer than to compare an intangible feeling, like confidence, with a tangible thing, like a salary.
Right, so you're not just comparing two apples anymore, you're comparing an apple to an idea.
And that's a big linguistic leap for a B1 learner. Now, the reflection then pivots to another subtle but vital distinction.
Yeah.
Comfort is not the same as contentment. Money can definitely buy comfort.
The physical ease of life. A good heating system, soft clothes, a smooth flight.
Exactly. Comfort is transactional. You pay for it, you get it.
But contentment, that seems much harder to just go out and buy.
Because contentment is internal. The source defines it as that quiet feeling of, this is enough.
This is enough.
It doesn't come from a shopping cart. It comes from internal states, like connection or moments of gratitude.
And the anecdote they used for this was the luxury hotel versus the tiny studio apartment.
Yes, let's revisit that. So the narrator is in a luxury hotel. Everything is polished, quiet, perfect.
Sounds nice.
It sounds nice, but they felt totally alone, just scrolling endlessly on their phone.
So maximum comfort, but zero internal peace.
Zero. And then in that same month, they visit a friend who lives in a tiny studio. They share a simple home-cooked meal. They laugh for hours.
And they sleep on a mattress on the floor. And they sleep better.
They sleep better. The expensive material asset, the five-star hotel, failed to provide the internal quality, which was peaceful sleep.
That contrast really highlights how money can fail to deliver peace. But it also brings up a feeling I recognize.
What's that?
Why would the luxury house and the softest chair lead to an internal state that felt so negative? They should have been relaxed.
But instead, they felt uneasy. They felt
restless.
Exactly. Which brings us to our first word to unpack.
Wait, okay, let's stop on that core word. Contentment. I've heard it, but I feel like I always associate it with being lazy or just, giving up.
That's such a common misconception.
I never really get its true meaning.
I'm so glad you asked, because the source material really tries to reclaim this word from that negative association.
Okay.
If we boil it down, contentment means a feeling of quiet happiness and deep peace with what you already have.
So it's not about wanting more.
It's an active choice not to chase or crave more. It's just being gently okay with where you are right now.
So is it the opposite of being ambitious?
Not necessarily the opposite of ambition, but the opposite of that restless feeling of constantly running. It's knowing the difference between ambition for growth and ambition driven by dissatisfaction.
Okay, that makes sense.
Let me give you a few different examples so you, our listener, can really get a feel for how the word is used.
Perfect.
So a formal example might be, the philosopher wrote extensively about finding true contentment, not in fame, but in the practice of simple, mindful living.
Okay, very academic.
Right. Now, a more casual one. After finishing my long, stressful project, I sank into the couch and felt a profound sense of contentment.
I didn't need anything else.
I didn't need to do anything else. And then a funny one.
I love the funny ones.
My cat looked at the sunbeam with perfect contentment, proving that true joy requires zero effort.
I love that. The cat examples are always the best. Okay, let's try to use it in a little conversation. Let's say we're trying to choose a major life path.
Sounds good. I'll start by questioning the big ambition.
Okay, so I have this incredible opportunity. I could move to the capital city, take a high-stress job that pays double my current salary.
Wow, double.
I'd have to work like 70 hours a week and move away from all my friends. I'd be rich, but I'm hesitant.
That sounds like a big trade-off, a trade-off between financial value and internal well-being.
It is.
Do you really think that huge salary will bring you contentment if you never have time to see your friends or do your hobbies?
You're right. I mean, I already have enough money to cover my bills and save a little. I'm comfortable here. Maybe I should prioritize the peaceful life. I think I'd rather have the quiet contentment of my small city routine than the exhausting noise of the capital.
That usage is perfect. You're highlighting the key conflict. Buying comfort versus finding that internal peace.
And using contentment to describe that feeling money can't buy.
Exactly. And for everyone listening, notice the words we often use with it. These are collocations. We talk about quiet contentment, inner contentment, or living a life of great contentment.
Learning those phrases together makes you sound more natural.
Totally. Now, this transitions us perfectly to maybe the most powerful concept in the entire source material.
Which is?
The reframing of wealth around time.
Time is the quietest form of wealth. That one line, it just stopped me completely. I'd never thought of time as a currency I was spending.
It's so impactful, isn't it?
Yeah.
The reflection says every job, every task, every dollar we earn,
Yeah.
it all costs time.
But time, once it's spent, doesn't come back.
So we have to ask ourselves, is this expenditure of time worth the return?
I relate so much to the feeling of saying yes to everything, thinking it's ambition, but then realizing I'm present in meetings but totally absent from my own life. I haven't watched a sunset in months because there's always another deadline. That ambition had a hidden cost of missed moments.
And this is so crucial because the sources apply this directly to you, the B1 learner.
How so?
If you say yes to every single language learning task, every flashcard app, every textbook, every group chat, you risk burnout.
Which undermines the whole goal.
It undermines your primary goal of becoming fluent. You've traded your time and mental energy for a goal that will now take even longer because you're exhausted.
That leads directly to the big question the source asks.
What if we stopped chasing more and started asking, what is enough?
I really struggle with that idea of enough. The world is always whispering or sometimes screaming, more is better.
More money, more success, more followers.
Exactly. And for a lot of people, true security does require chasing that promotion or C2 fluency. Isn't settling for enough sometimes a limitation?
That is a critical challenge, and the source material anticipates it. It clarifies that enough doesn't mean too little. It doesn't mean settling for poverty.
Okay.
It means sufficient, just right. Enough means achieving a state of security where you can feel peaceful.
Knowing where to stop the chase.
Yes, so that your joy isn't buried under the anxiety of having too much.
Yeah.
The example of the content person with the one-bedroom flat and the secondhand bike,
The one who read poetry.
that was his version of enough. He didn't feel limited by it. He felt free. Now, this is a great time to talk about the law of diminishing returns. It's like the mathematical proof for enough.
Please simplify that. It sounds like a business school lecture.
I will, I promise.
Oh,
If we boil it down, it just means that after a certain point, the benefit you get from increasing something starts to get smaller and smaller.
Okay.
The research is clear. Your happiness gets a major jump only when your essential needs are covered.
Rent, food, security, that kind of thing.
Yes. If you move from having constant anxiety about bills to having financial security, your happiness goes way up.
That makes sense. You're removing that constant low-level stress.
Exactly. The source contrasts two hypothetical neighbors, Jessica and Ryan.
Okay, Jessica and Ryan.
Jessica earns just enough to pay her rent, but she is constantly anxious, always worrying about an unexpected twill.
I know that feeling.
But Ryan, he earns enough to cover bills comfortably, he has some savings, he can go on a hike on the weekend. Ryan is significantly happier than Jessica.
Right. And that's a perfect example for B1 learners to practice comparatives. Ryan is much happier than Jessica.
Or Jessica is less secure than Ryan. The big jump in happiness only happens when Jessica moves from her level of insecurity to Ryan's level of stability.
So after Ryan reaches that stable point, the level of enough, what happens then if he gets a huge raise?
He might buy a slightly nicer car or a bigger TV, but his overall emotional happiness won't jump dramatically again.
He's just buying more comfort, not more fundamental joy.
That's the diminishing return. The happiness value of each extra dollar goes down after security is achieved. And speaking of that anxiety, even when things look good on the outside, that feeling of unease can persist.
That unsettled feeling of being restless.
There's our next word.
That is the perfect transition. We used restless earlier. I know it means unsettled. But what's the difference between feeling restless and just being, say, impatient?
That's a great nuance to explore. So restless means you literally can't relax. It's a deeper feeling than just impatience. Impatience is usually focused on a specific thing. I'm impatient for the bus to arrive.
Right?
But restlessness is more of a general state. You feel uneasy, like something important is missing, even when life looks good on the outside. It's an internal churning.
It's that feeling of having the softest bed, but you're just tossing and turning all night.
Exactly. Let's solidify that with our looping examples.
Okay.
A formal example. After receiving the unsettling news, the CEO spent a restless night, unable to organize her thoughts or sleep peacefully.
A casual one.
We waited for the delayed train for 2 hours, and by the end, the whole platform was starting to feel incredibly restless.
And the funny one.
I gave my toddler too much sugar before bed, and now he is so restless he is literally bouncing off the walls.
I know that one well. Okay, let's try a scenario, a high-stakes one. Let's say we're waiting for some really important, life-changing news.
Okay, that works. We're waiting for our B2 language exam results.
Oh, the stress. I know the results are supposed to be online any minute, but the website is loading so slowly. I can't focus on anything. I can't check in my phone.
I am right there with you. I tried to clean the kitchen, then I just paced around the living room. I feel so incredibly restless. This uneasy, restless energy is making me want to scream.
You captured it perfectly. This restless waiting is way worse than the exam itself.
For sure. And when you use this word, remember the common pairings. You feel restless, someone might have a restless spirit, or you might talk about restless energy.
Got it. Okay, so where does the material go from here?
It makes a sharp shift from those internal feelings back to external behavior, specifically the pursuit of status.
Ah, the trap of upgrading everything. New clothes, the latest phone, fancier furniture, usually to impress people we don't even know that well.
Yeah, the source reminds us of the time cost of that.
Mhm.
Status fades. The expensive thing you buy today is old news tomorrow.
But true peace comes from acquiring time.
Time to rest, time to think, time to just be present with people you love.
This sounds like the core of the anti-burnout strategy the content talks about.
It is. Instead of using your money to buy more things that just clutter up your life, what if we used it to buy more time?
Like paying for a service or just taking a day off.
Exactly. Saying no to exhaustion and creating space in our lives.
Space instead of clutter. That's a really powerful visual. When my apartment is full of stuff I don't need, I feel overwhelmed. The physical state becomes my mental state.
And that analogy is central to the philosophy. The source says that avoiding the rush and saying no to burnout helps create mental space instead of mental clutter.
Let's really dissect that. How is clutter in the mind similar to clutter in the house?
Well, physical clutter, too many things piled up, makes it hard to find your keys, hard to relax.
Right.
Mental clutter, too many distractions, too many worries, too many commitments, makes it hard to find clarity, to focus. Both kinds of clutter are thieves of peace.
It's like having 100 browser tabs open in your mind, all demanding attention.
That is a perfect description. And that is me every time I try to study a new language.
You open the grammar book, the flashcard app, the podcast.
It's all useful, but it leads to total mental overload, which makes clutter our perfect next word to unpack.
Okay, so I use clutter for my messy desk all the time, but the source mentioned digital clutter and clutter in your mind. It's still just too much stuff.
Yes, fundamentally. In plain English, clutter just means a messy, disorganized collection of too many things. It can be in your room, or it can be too many distractions and thoughts in your mind.
It's the opposite of clarity.
Exactly. The key phrase the source used, less clutter, more clarity, is the perfect way to remember it.
I'm putting that on my fridge. Less clutter, more clarity. Let's do the examples.
Okay, a formal one. The project manager asked the team to reduce the communication clutter by using only one channel for updates.
Casual.
I spent all morning cleaning my garage. There was so much unnecessary clutter I couldn't even walk in there.
And a funny one.
I keep saving funny memes to my desktop, and now my screen is just a giant, disorganized pile of digital clutter that makes my computer crash.
Okay, let's try the role play. Let's focus on mental clutter. I'm feeling completely overwhelmed by my to-do list.
You look totally stressed out. You keep running your hands through your hair and just staring at your screen. What's the problem?
Honestly, I said yes to too many projects this month. I have 3 huge deadlines. I promised to help a friend move, and I still have to finish my B1 grammar review.
Wow.
My mind is just full of clutter, and I don't even know where to start.
Okay, you need to actively declutter your mind. Take 5 minutes. Write down every single commitment and then prioritize ruthlessly.
Just cut things out.
Remove anything that isn't absolutely essential. By taking away that mental clutter, you'll get the clarity you need to tackle the most important step. Don't let the clutter win.
That makes perfect sense. Clear the distractions, focus on one thing. I need to schedule a decluttering hour this weekend.
Excellent. And for our listeners, note the common pairings. Mental clutter and digital clutter are super common now. And the verb to declutter, meaning to remove the clutter.
Okay, so we've established that happiness doesn't live in big paychecks. It lives in time and clarity. So where does the source say it actually lives?
In the small, ordinary moments.
Ah.
The feeling of the quiet hum of the morning, the first sip of tea, the sound of someone you love laughing at a silly joke.
The material reminds us that those small moments aren't small at all. They're everything.
And the core concept here is presence. Being fully there, not distracted by the past or the future or the next thing you need to buy.
And money cannot buy the feeling of being truly present in your own life.
Right, and I love the play on words they use.
Real happiness comes from presence, not presence.
It's so easy to remember, and it's linguistically very clever.
It's more than clever, though, isn't it? You called it a pedagogical strategy.
A brilliant one. Antithetical parallelism. Let's do a little linguistic deep dive on this structure because it's the most powerful teaching moment in the whole source.
Okay, unpack it for me. Antithetical parallelism sounds like I need a dictionary.
It just means contrasting two opposing ideas using the same sentence structure.
So, money can buy X, but it cannot buy Y.
Exactly. For B1 learners, that consistent pattern is incredibly predictable and comforting. It lowers the cognitive load.
Your brain knows what's coming.
And when the structure is predictable, you can focus all your energy on memorizing the chunks of phrases like peaceful sleep or true joy.
And it helps you practice grammar, like the modal verbs can and cannot.
Right. It's a systematic grammar drill hidden inside a philosophical statement. And the examples stick because they're such striking comparisons.
A tangible thing versus an intangible feeling.
Precisely. So let's review those 4 specific dichotomies we promised at the start.
Yeah.
This is the core takeaway.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, focusing on your internal state. Money can buy a bed, even the most expensive one.
But it cannot buy peaceful sleep.
Exactly. The peace has to come from inside.
What's the second one?
It relates to human connection. Money can buy food, the fanciest meal you can imagine.
But it cannot buy the taste of love at the dinner table. Oh, that one is deeply moving.
It really is. It distinguishes between just nourishment and that high-value emotional experience of connection.
Yeah, okay, number 3.
Third is about physical well-being. Money can buy medicine, the best treatments, the best doctors.
But it cannot buy perfect health, because health also requires rest, balance, low stress, things money can't give you.
And often takes away if you're chasing more.
And the final one.
The final one covers the philosophical distinction. Money can buy entertainment movies, games, shows.
But it cannot buy true joy.
Right. Entertainment is external stimulation. Joy, as the source says, blooms without effort from within when you're present.
These 4 statements are so effective. They drill the grammar while also teaching this huge life lesson.
The teaching utility is enormous.
So how does the source translate these big ideas into daily life? Because B1 learners need actionable things to do, not just abstract ideas.
Right, and that's the final section. Prescriptive, high-utility advice. It lays out a structured routine to counter burnout.
And practice English at the same time.
At the same time. It suggests things like waking up at 7 a.m. for consistency, practicing mindful breathing to lower that affective filter,
Using a morning power hour for your hardest work, like grammar.
scheduling a quick video call for a language exchange, and automating your savings to remove financial clutter.
I love that. It's so practical. It's mixing financial discipline with mental investment.
And they specifically recommend doing these self-help habits, like writing a gratitude note or making your to-do list in English.
Oh, that's smart.
It links your mindset development directly to your language practice. You are actively using English as a tool for your own well-being.
You're turning a positive life habit into a consistent, low-stakes English production task. That's brilliant.
It reinforces the whole message perfectly.
Which brings us to our last vocabulary word, the one that this whole section is designed to help us avoid.
Yes, the big one, burnout.
Burnout is a word I hear constantly, and I used to think it just meant being really, really tired.
A lot of people do.
But the source treats it like a serious condition that you have to actively plan to prevent.
You're right. It is far more serious than just being tired. In plain English, burnout is extreme exhaustion.
Mental, emotional, physical, all of it.
All of it. And it happens when you push yourself too hard for too long without enough rest. It's characterized by losing your motivation, feeling cynical.
And your performance just drops off a cliff.
Yes. It's not just a bad night's sleep. It's a state of total system failure from saying yes to too much and ignoring the time cost.
And this applies to language learning too, right?
Absolutely. Trying to get to C2 in 6 months is a recipe for burnout. Let's hear the examples to really solidify this.
Okay.
Formal example. The CEO took a 3-month sabbatical to recover from severe professional burnout.
Casual.
I ignored all the warning signs until burnout hit me last month, and I had to stop working completely just to rest my mind for a week.
And the funny, weird one.
My old video game console suffered total hardware burnout after I left it running for 3 days straight.
Okay, let's try a conversation. Let's practice warning someone that they are approaching burnout.
Sounds good.
You look completely exhausted. You just yawned for the fourth time and you spilled your coffee. Are you getting any sleep at all?
I know I look terrible. I've been getting like 5 hours of sleep, drinking way too much coffee, and I haven't taken a full day off in almost 2 months.
Oh, wow.
I feel like my battery is completely empty. I think I'm heading straight for total burnout.
You absolutely are showing all the classic signs of impending burnout. You have to use the anti-burnout strategies from the sources now.
Yeah, I know.
You have to schedule time for rest. You have to prioritize your health. If you suffer burnout, it will take so much longer to recover than just taking a few days off now.
You're right. The cost of burnout is so much higher than the cost of just saying no to one more project.
Good job.
Yeah.
And the common collocations we hear are hit burnout, suffer burnout, prevent burnout, and of course, professional burnout.
Yeah.
Speaking of burnout, I often hear intermediate learners using this word incorrectly. Can I say, for example, he was burnout after working for 20 hours straight?
That is a very common and very understandable mistake for B1 learners, because a lot of English words can be both a verb and a noun.
But not this one.
Not really. In this context, burnout is almost always used as a noun, the state of being.
So how would a native speaker say it if they want to use it as an adjective to describe someone?
We would actually say he suffered from burnout, using it as a noun, or most commonly we'd use the adjectival form, which is he was completely burned out.
Ah, with the ed.
With the ed.
Yeah.
The simple way to remember is you suffer from burnout, the noun, or you are burned out, the adjective.
Got it. He was burned out or he is suffering from burnout. That is incredibly helpful.
All right, and to you, our very attentive listener, we promised a quick quiz to test your memory.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Question 1. Which word describes that feeling of internal unease when you can't relax and you feel like something is missing, even if you have all the material comforts?
Okay, that's the opposite of peace. The feeling of tossing and turning in the softest bed. That has to be restless.
Spot on. Restless. That deep, internal, unsettled feeling.
Okay, next.
Question 2. Which word describes having too much stuff, either physical items or too many distractions in your mind, leading to a lack of clarity?
That is the thief of clarity. That is clutter, as the source taught us.
Huh.
Less clutter, more clarity.
Excellent recall. And finally, fulfilling our promise from the intro, the question about the dichotomy of joy.
Okay.
Money can buy a bed, but according to the source material, it cannot buy.
Oh, this is the one we revealed. The first of the 4. Money can buy a bed, but it cannot buy peaceful sleep.
Perfect. You were paying very close attention to those specific phrases.
That was a fun way to review. So can we quickly summarize the 4 key words we unpacked today?
Let's do it. We covered contentment, that quiet feeling of peace, realizing that what you have is enough.
We covered restless, feeling uneasy or unsettled, like something is missing.
We defined clutter, too much stuff, physical or mental, that steals your clarity.
And finally, burnout. Extreme exhaustion from pushing too hard for too long. A system failure.
4 incredibly useful words that not only improve your English, but also give you the tools to talk about your own well-being.
Now, we want to leave you, our listener, with one micro challenge, a small, concrete task based on the advice from the source.
What is the challenge?
Start a Moments of Joy jar, or just a small notebook. At the end of every day, write down just one small thing you are genuinely grateful for today.
The first sip of tea, a friend's laugh, a moment of focus.
The sunset, whatever it is. And the
Right.
key part, you have to write that note in English.
So you're turning a positive self-help habit into a consistent low-stakes English production task.
Exactly. Linking your learning directly to your happiness.
I love that. A perfect blend of language practice and mindset growth.
And let's end with one final provocative thought. It links this entire conversation about time and enough right back to your journey as a B1 learner.
Okay.
This source warns against burnout in life, and that lesson should be applied to language learning itself.
Meaning, don't try to climb that endless ladder of perfection in your language learning.
Exactly. Don't constantly chase unrealistic, perfect fluency targets. That's chasing more. Instead, focus on sufficient progress, your version of enough.
Prioritize rest. Make your learning sustainable.
And find joy in the simple, present achievement of understanding an episode just like this one.
If you make your learning peaceful and consistent, you'll sustain it. And that gentle consistency is the truest path to fluency.
Focus on the presence in your learning, not just the distant, stressful future. That is a fantastic way to look at it.
It really is.
Well, that was a truly deep dive into contentment, clutter, time, and the language we use to talk about it all.
We hope this gave you the linguistic tools and the clarity you need to move forward today.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to Global English Podcast.
It really helps.
I'm Jordan. See you next time.
And I'm Taylor. Bye.